Welcome to Mathology Teach. In this video, we're going to look at how to conduct formative assessment and track growth within Mathology Teach. There is inbuilt formative assessment functionality within each Mathology lesson. Along the top, you can see an assessment tab. So once you have got your students started on a lesson, you can come here and you'll see a visual representation of the different progression indicators along the learning progression for that particular concept you're teaching. You can select your class or your group of students that you've set up. Here's my Sophie's class. And as I'm going around the classroom on my iPad or on my laptop or on even a printout of this sheet, you can move the students to where you see they might be working. Now, as you're moving through the class, you might see you have students that might be struggling. And here you see Lucy is mixing up the number sequence when she's counting. I can get an immediate next step idea of how to move her along the progression and build her understanding. So once she's done this, you might observe her working at a much higher level, and you can then move her along within the same lesson. So it's not a static assessment. Each time you move, you get a date stamp, and you can also add comments here, which is great for reporting, and then you have a record of how the student has really performed in that particular concept. So how do you get this record? You can go to Analytics, and here you can view a report by the whole class or by individual student. Let's go to the class to start with. Here you can see that for this class and in level K or level F, there have been 3 assessments done so far, 3 of the lessons done. You'll see here that you can actually switch here to any level, year level, or any math strand that this class might have done an activity in. So here you'll see the 3 lessons. You can see the date the assessment was done, and you can see the status of the class, whether they're in progress, they're doing okay but need a bit more work, whether they really haven't grasped the concept, and that's red, or whether the class is on track in green. You see the number of students assessed, and you also see this distribution, which is a visual representation of that learning progression grid that you used in the assessment tab. And here you'll see that to be in progress, you have to have the majority of your class working in these middle points of the progression. If your class needs attention, the majority of the class will be working at the lower progression points, and on track, the majority of the class are working in the upper progression points. You can also click here to view the assessment you did. At this point, you can also move students along the progression again, and it'll be date stamped, so that you can have a more accurate picture of where the students are performing. You can export or print the report, and you can also view the report in different ways. This was the activity view. You can also look at it from a curriculum view. Now, all these activities were in number and place value, and so you can see the number of activities in that strand. There's also, if you want to drill down into the curriculum further, there's the advanced curriculum view, where you can see specifically the curriculum outcomes that have been covered, or you can go to the detailed progression view and see which points of the learning progression that you've covered in these assessments. Each of these views are able to be exported or printed. So if we go to the student view, the first thing to do is to select a student. I'll stick with Sophie, but I'll look at her level K. Now here you'll see that we get a detail for just that student on the activities that have been assessed. You'll see the date they were assessed, the status for that particular student, where the student is sitting on the learning progression, and then you can again go back to the details of the assessment, where here you can go specifically into where the student is performing. You can also view the specific assessment panel to see if you want to move the student on or back. Again, you can export and print this report for use in reporting. So that's the assessment functionality within Mathology Teach. For more information, please see the other Getting Started videos.